It's a completely different week.
It's different, right? It's not a normal week, grand final week.
I actually don't know what goes through my head when I walk across the white line.
The hairs on the back of your neck stand up, you get the chills.
I'll never forget that feeling going into the week.
Embracing the pressure, embracing the fans, embracing the feelings.
You just do or die.
They are through to the grand final and a shot at their sixth flag.
It was pretty surreal, to be honest. I think having all your mates there who've played a whole season with, and we did have a lot of up and downs through the year that we were able to get through. And then I think it was just a kind of bit of a relief.
That was an awesome win. Everyone's in, everyone's banging doors. It's an amazing feeling.
Well done to Haynes and Rams, massive milestones. But Ronnie, have you got something for us?
Yeah, Chelsea's 13 weeks pregnant.
Get an opportunity to live out your dream, to win a premiership, even to play on grand final days. It's very special. But it's also like we've got one more to go. We're not done yet.
The excitement was super high. We were ready.
Brisbane just had unfinished business to attend to at the MCG, and they will get their chance next week against the Sydney Swans.
We'd obviously come off a pretty emotional win the week before against the Giants, and then similar to that feeling that night against Geelong, and just to see how many people travel down from Brisbane, all the families that we have down in Melbourne and stuff in the rooms, and it was just the happiest place on earth for that short period of time.
What an opportunity for us to, play in another grand final. There was a lot of challenging moments for us as a football team. So very happy, excited, relief.
Thanks again for your efforts tonight. Another win you'll never forget. Showed a huge amount of resilience and character.
Obviously we hadn't necessarily had the year that we'd wanted, but our ability to get ourselves back to the grand final was awesome. It was a great effort from the boys and really well drilled by a great coaching staff.
Good speech as always.
It's what we all either work for or play for or support partners for. It's an awesome experience to be a part of this.
So we're working out who's fit, who needs work throughout the week, what training loads they can do. And then it was about sitting down with all the partners. We talk about the week to try and make it as easy as possible for the players. As an interstate team, it is different. You aren't just going home and then coming to play the following week at home. Logistically, there's a lot to do.
Good rugby, the old man. What he doesn't know is what I'm announcing is about him.
So at the start of the meeting, Danny got up the front. I'm pretty sure he might have a microphone on him as well. So usually when he's got a microphone on his T-shirt, something's happened or there's some big news coming.
You pick a letter. If the letter's on the board, you keep going.
And he had a couple of blank words up on the whiteboard where we had to fill in the gaps. We pretty quickly filled it out that Faith's got Coach of the Year. I remember getting up there, he was a little bit embarrassed and probably didn't want to take anything away from the week that we're about to go into.
Yeah, we carried on like pork chops and I think it was thoroughly deserved. I mean, he's taken this club from really a club that a lot of players didn't really want to come or stay at in 2016-17 to somewhat a destination club and a club that played finals for the last 6 years in a row, which, rarely happens.
Thanks for recognising that, Dan. I was trying to keep it a secret, but anyway, it's out now, so...
She's out, don't worry about it.
Here you go. Thanks, Colin.
The support that you get means so much to the players, but also to everyone else in Sydney and across the country.
Get a bit of tingles because it's so exciting and the fans are there to see you and how much they love the club, and this is their number one thing.
You don't usually do a Monday session like that, so it's so different. There was guys under a bit of injury cloud who you got to kind of hide away from how much they can do, how much they can't, and I was one of those guys. So it plays on your mind, but you just kind of have to just be in the moment.
Obviously, if they've marked it and they push back, you identify that. That's your cue to go, okay, we've got to be careful. They might switch it on.
Watched the game from Friday night against Port Adelaide. Obviously, there was a lot of positives to come out of it, which was great. I think the goal to get out of that meeting is, I guess, the things that we need to keep doing.
Really important we get our most dangerous players in there to play their role in there. So we said before the game party, we wanted you to stalk. Pat and Chatty are actually out of this one. You're going to say that?
Yeah, I just come in the ground as well. So I was going to go in, but I sort of just held out.
We played a really solid game, but you also want to have things that you can work on and that it's going to be really important to implement for Brisbane.
The review from Port Adelaide, stats-wise, what we went in focusing on, did it work, didn't it work, and then show vision about why. And then from there, it's breaking your lines. Monday afternoon, you spend with individual players just on their game, how they went, how they're feeling, and you start to really dive into the mindset or getting an understanding of where each individual's at.
Oscar's down again, guys. He's in a lot of pain out there.
We were all sort of expecting the worst case result with Oscar in that, he was going to miss a fair bit of time and be unavailable to play.
He's been such a big part of what we've been able to achieve across the last 6 years. His ability to play a really selfless role in our ruck is critical for our midfielders and also everyone on the ground. All he wanted to do was bring good energy to the club. I know on that Tuesday session, he was out there after throwing up some ruck contests for the big boys, the big rucks that were working on their craft, and the way he handled it was first class.
And Darcy Fort was the obvious replacement. The way Oscar carried himself from that moment he got formally told that he would be unavailable to play in the grand final, his attention turned to skilling up Darcy and sharing his knowledge and understanding of the way to play Grundy and how he can best assist our midfield group.
I don't know if the word's premonition or whatever it is. Darcy Fort on lunchtime on the Saturday before we played Geelong walked through our dining hall, and in my head I said, he's going to play in the grand final next week. I had this weird, I got goosebumps now thinking about it. Like, I just saw him and I was like, oh my God, he's going to play.
Any sort of time off that you give a player, you want to make sure that they've got to have separation from the footy club. But having said that, most of the players sort of come in anyway. There's no fixated session they have to do.
Media day, all that stuff. So I think just taking all that in your stride and trying to do exactly what you usually do throughout a week. Just soak it all in.
I was pretty much living at this recovery place in like a hyperbaric chamber and a few other things because I had to get my hammy right. So I'd been living there for about 2 weeks. So
it's very tough, like trying to switch off, probably even for a normal game. For me, I love footy and I'm always thinking about it. So for me, it's very early in the week, just try to be as normal as possible, not think about it as much.
When I first moved up here, it would have been 7 or 8 years ago. You wouldn't see as many Brisbane line jumpers around Brisbane, and definitely not training in back-to-back years and grand final weeks. We had thousands and thousands of fans out here supporting us and cheering us on.
You see how happy people are and how proud they are of you, of what you've been able to achieve this season. And yeah, it's really rewarding as a player. It's really hard not to have good energy when you're running a few laps and there's a few thousand hanging off the fence.
They get back, but they're really there to start their offence. They're not there to defend.
An opposition review meeting, which we conduct on the Tuesday. It's a 15-minute snapshot of what the team's strengths and weaknesses are. We like to get the players to share their understandings, what they learnt through playing that team throughout the home and away period. This is the opposition.
We tend to put the list of who we think will actually play throughout the week. And then you as an individual, depending on where you're playing, you sort of would see what your matchup is. You might have opposition's height, you might have what foot they kick with, maybe a strength or weakness underneath their name tag. From there, we sort of focus in on what they do offensively, how they like to move the ball, what they do without the ball. Are they a press team? Do they play man on man? We sort of nut out that sort of side of things. And then how they are around the contested ball as well.
In case of an emergency, they've thrown him into the middle. He's quite tough and reliable in there.
It's run by our coaches, but players have a lot to do with it as well. Anything's open, we can talk about anything, anyone can ask questions. It doesn't matter if you played one game or 250.
They've got their usual tools that'll play. Usually there's only 2 of them on. We've got our big boys that can take care of them. Painter, you'll take the deepest one.
I like to keep tabs and just take, little notes and stuff there, try and keep that information in my head. And, there'd be other guys in the forward line, think like guys like Charlie Cameron who cruise around on instinct and, don't worry about the oppo too much. Pretty confident in his own ability.
You see the work rate back the other way and Warnock started inside.
Donnie does a great job of catering for all different types of players. I'm a bit of a footy head in the sense I love my stats, love different trends and stuff within the game and just picking up little things that might help me in my own personal performance, which in turn will help us as a team.
Callum Mills addresses the troops.
So I did my hammy Giants game and there was a bit of tendon involved in the hammy, so that's usually not a good sign. It turned around a lot faster than what we thought. I was open for fitness tests and it was kind of push it as hard as you can to see whether it fails or it holds. Yeah, it held. It worked. I got through everything that they asked me to and I felt really good and really excited and then it was just up to the decision.
Oh, you have a captain of the football club you wanted to give to the last minute. It's such a strong figure of our football club and the dynamic he is as a footballer as well.
I knew it was going to be tough. They gave me a warning that this was going to be a big one. So I was ready for it and I wanted to do it as well because I wanted to know that if it'd stand up or not. Like all the boys were sort of watching me at the end go for it and I think that would have given them a lot of confidence that if he can get through that, he can get through most things.
I don't think I'll ever see that in my career again, what he would have to go through. To see him get through that, I was like, geez, we're on here. How good's this going to be? Millsy's back, captain's back.
The decision came on the Wednesday. He hadn't done enough. That's the call you make at the time, as hard as the call is.
Millsy obviously already knew before he came in the circle and it was, I'd never seen a look on someone's face like that, to be honest. It was, I can't even imagine what I'd be like in that scenario.
I actually get a message from one of the boys saying, Millsy's not playing. And I was like, what's going on? He just passed one of the best fitness tests. And then I come back and it was, very emotional. Pretty tough, that sort of seeing your good mate miss out. But, sorry.
He kind of just reassured us that this is the best thing for the team and that he agrees it's the best thing for the team.
As soon as it happened, he flipped straight into how we can make us win. That's why he's such a great captain.
Before we train our last training session, we've got to dive into the opposition and showing the players what we expect Brisbane to bring.
I like to know how we're going to beat them. And I think that's the most important part. What's our plan to beat the team? How are they going to try to beat us?
They're a really tough side. Like they're contested, big bodies, but then they're also really smart with taking the ball off you and making you defend.
Last time we played them, their winger got back really hard. Their ruck got back to actually free up either Andrews or another defender.
Harris Andrews is obviously one of their better players and we had a plan to nullify him. He's obviously a very good intercept marker, so our plan was to put Luke Parker on him. Luke's a very good one-on-one player. He's smaller, but he's very good with his footy smarts.
Didn't really have any direct matchups. I usually kind of play freely and then see kind of what they bring to me. I think our main matchups were probably Lockie Neal, 2-time Brownlow medalist. He's an absolute freak.
Yeah, you sort of watch their desperation, the way that they played throughout that finals and then the comeback games that they had. After a slow start, they built into the season really nicely.
Papley flings at McInerney. He got back on his feet. There was a goal. If there's a notion, there's a goal.
That whole year, I've never seen the SCG like that or seen a team play as good as in that period where we were just humming.
It was just a massive kind of wave of, fun and energy and all the boys buying in.
Probably back into the year we didn't play our best footy but slowly turned it the last couple of rounds and then the semi-final obviously was pretty amazing and to win the prelim final pretty comfortably against Port. You go in as favourites and the expectation was a lot more.
We learnt from the previous year's preparation that was a good opportunity to get the whole staff and playing group down to Melbourne.
Very different to the year before where we flew down with all the families and don't get me wrong, absolutely love my teammates, love their kids, but flight's very, very busy when you have 10 different kids running around on the flight, screaming and carrying on and stuff. So it was a very different experience on the plane, which I thought was a great initiative from the club, fly the families down, a day later and for us to go down a day earlier.
The difference is how the whole club gets down because it's a whole club. There's partners, there's families. Like it's different to a usual game where you fly down and it's just the team and you go off. There's a lot more.
I think travelling days kind of do make you tired a little bit. You don't really realise until you kind of do it. The main thing I try to do is remember my boots. I've forgot them a few times, so that was at the top of my list.
The Thursday is really the next opportunity to get together and just share some learnings.
Remember these sheets I think Larry gave me out before the final started?
After the 2023 Grand Final, Fags got us to write down sort of how we felt through Grand Final day, how we felt through Grand Final week, how we would do something different, how the team could do something different, and how you individually could do something different.
Some of the things that I took away personally, I think, was just the importance of really being clear about your role in high-pressure stake situations. Just our ability to go back to the absolute fundamentals of how we want to play and what we want to do in those big moments.
I wrote down we need to start practicing drills where we don't talk, but we actually start communicating in other ways. We really struggled with communication in the 2023 Grand Final. I remember trying to communicate to Jared Berry, who was about 3 metres in front of me, and just couldn't hear me. Colin would get the opportunity of playing in front of almost 100,000 each week, right? So the way they communicate is completely different to a team that might only experience 20 to 40 to 50,000. Their older brigade really finger pointing, turning their heads, communicating in so many different ways, and their mouths weren't moving.
My main messaging I got out of mine was to make sure I make the most of my moments. Sometimes you can think about moments as kicking a big goal or taking a big mark, but it's just about doing the basic things right.
We wrote all that down, Fakes put them away, and he said, if we ever get back in this moment, we're going to pull these out and we're going to sort out what we're going to do to make sure we don't get the same result.
Pure mahogany there now, and I made that bar myself. And you think they call me James the Bar Maker? No.
To lighten the mood of a defenders meeting. It didn't happen every week, but when everyone was in the room at once, we'd have a joke off. So it would be an AFL player versus a VFL player, or someone in your same position potentially. Football can be so serious at times, but really important that you enjoy the camaraderie.
There's a couple of different setups they have. 4 at the front, 2 deep.
Our line meetings run by Moz. Yeah, we'll just try and, I guess, learn a little bit more about their forward line. Players, heights, weights, the way they like to enter the forward 50, goal kicking accuracy, who do they target when they're going inside 50. I love numbers and also I love vision as well, being able to watch and see the way that opposition forward line work together and try and open up space and how we can, as a back line, combat that by taking away that space and being hard to play on.
This is a good little tester for our composure.
I like to put in activities leading into our line meeting. I think the question that I asked was about just share anything specific about Sydney. Here we go. Once you've learned something, pass the bomb on to the next player.
Gordon loves to rap on his left.
You can see their heads thinking about the content because they can't repeat what a player had already said.
Tackle breaks. Give back to Zach.
The players like to put their teammates under pressure and see them panic and crumble. I try and get them relaxed so that when it comes to presenting some content, that they are in a headspace that allows them to retain that information.
If you can be having fun and looking at lookalikes and taking the mickey out of each other in Grand Final week, I feel like that just gives you so much clarity going into the game that it still is a game.
Someone might have to explain it something.
It's funny because it goes from really, really funny, everyone's laughing, and then the next slide, everyone's locked in real serious. So you got to switch over very quickly.
Now it's getting closer, and now it's all right, well, now we're a day away. Coming into the MCG, doing your captain's run as normally as you possibly would. We have another little meeting that we go through just to fine-tune and finish the week off.
I thought we were a massive chance and I thought we could win, and I was building as much energy and doing whatever the boys needed me to do. Giving high fives, bum taps, whatever. I was giving them ground balls, they needed ground balls. I was chasing footies, I was kicking them back behind the goals. I was running around like a crazy cat on hot tin roof.
Call the captain's run, and supposedly I'm supposed to set the agenda and what we're going to do for the session, but Faig's very quick to put his mark on it. When you're 24 hours out from a game, you can sort of get yourself a little bit maybe too fired up, but it was important to really enjoy it.
Our fans have been so amazing throughout my whole entire career, but for them to turn up to our captain's run and make so much noise and be so happy and cheerful, it really got the boys fired up. It was incredible.
I love the grand final parade. It's such a sort of unique thing, and your family's there. You've got good mates in the parade yelling out.
Just such a great feeling, and kind of was able to be really in the moment at the time. And even when the Brisbane fans were there, they were kind of wishing you good luck as well. It's kind of really nice feeling the respect they had.
The parade's done, and you're just ready to play a game of footy. My situation was obviously different than when you'd go to your hotel room. That was by yourself. That was pretty tough, to be honest.
When I kind of put the head on the pillow Friday night, that was when it really kicked in there.
The night before, once you get up to go to the toilet, it's harder to get back to sleep. Dramatically harder, because you know it's almost upon you.
Probably bloody screamed in the mirror 10 times going come on, you can do it sort of stuff.
There was just a real sense of confidence that came over me that every single player had done everything they needed to do to give ourselves the best chance.
I was feeling good. I was feeling really relaxed. I was calm and knew what we needed to do.
For the 6 weeks leading into the grand final, every Friday night I was on my uni tutorial for my teaching degree. And so I thought, you know what, we've been winning footy games, I'll stay on again.
They know what they need to do, so it's just a waiting game now. Sydney and Brisbane to fight it out. The coaches have done all their talking during the week. You know the nervous tension is there. It is absolutely spine-tingling. It all comes down to this, the 2024 AFL